What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the B-Roll Sports Podcast. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about Collin Klein and his career, and how he's coming over to K-State to be the head football coach, and the transfer portal, and who's coming and going. So stick around, because it's going to be a good one. All right, so for our first part of the episode, we are going to be just talking about Collin Klein and his career in general. I'm really excited for him to come over to K-State, and I think that he's going to do really well here at Kansas State as the head coach, not the offensive coordinator, and do really well. So, for my first part of the episode, which is right now, we're just going to talk about his career. Collin Klein is coming back to KSU, like I said, after Coach Kleiman retired. I mean, I like Coach Kleiman, but I think that once the transfer portal, he just wasn't made for that as a coach. I think he struggled to adapt to the transfer portal. And that's the reason I think why he retired. Collin Klein has played for Kansas State as a star QB through 2009 to 2012. He was a really good dual threat quarterback who had 30 passing touchdowns and 56 rushing touchdowns. He was like the Josh Allen of college. He was really, really good. And I wasn't there personally to watch it, but I watched some highlights, and my dad's talked about it, and so I have a brief overview of what he was like. He played as a receiver in his freshman year because he was so fast. Didn't do too much. And then won his first win as a starting quarterback in 2010. So in 2009 and 2010, he didn't do very much. But in 2011 and 2012, he became the full starting QB, and that's where he really started to exceed and be one of the nation's top dual threat quarterbacks. In 2012, he directed the Cats to a Big 12 championship and was the leading player on the number one team for a majority of the season. That was the season where Kansas State could have made the playoffs, should have made the playoffs, but didn't. Pretty disappointing year, but that's all right. He finished third in the Heisman Trophy voting in his senior year and tried to go pro. Unfortunately, he went to a rookie minicamp tryout, but he failed to make the team. He wasn't one of those players that was good in college, but didn't really exceed in the NFL. Bryce Young is an example of this. He was really good in college, but just hasn't been able to exceed yet. He started at Kansas State for his coaching career. Just had very small jobs, just kind of helped around with the team. Didn't do very much. But then he went to Northern Iowa as a quarterback coach. So he went there for just 1 year, very short year. Just normal job, quarterback coach is a smaller D1 college. After one season with them, he transferred back to Kansas State and became an offensive coordinator and a quarterback coach. So he kind of switched around with those jobs, and sometimes he was both. Sometimes he was just quarterback coach. Sometimes he was offensive coordinator. He just kind of did everything for them. But in 2022, that was his most notable season. He won a Big 12 championship over TCU, and he was offensive coordinator. That was a really good game. I remember it. It was a touchdown to win or to go in the overtime, I think, and they were at the half-yard line, and so we stopped them at the half-yard line. It was first and goal, and so it was huge. And I remember it was really fun to watch that game and just that season in general. I think it was 2022 or 2023. So while Klein was in staff, KSU amassed 51 wins and 5 bowl appearances. So they were really good when Collin Klein was there. Collin Klein wasn't the whole reason they were there. I mean, we just were really good. We had a lot of good players there, like Deuce, Will Howard, all those good players. So he wasn't the main reason, but he was a big help for them. This year, Texas A&M hired Klein as offensive coordinator, as most of you know. Currently, the team has an 11-1 record and has made the playoffs. He's going to stay with them for the rest of the season, but he will become a head coach once their season is over. So I'm really excited for him to come over. He's done a really good job with Texas Tech and managing their offense. They have a really good quarterback, and I think they're going to do well in the playoffs. And I think the big reason that they're going to do well in the playoffs is because of him. Starting for next year, going to talk about some transfer portal things that happen and some just announcements that K-State football has made. Jace Brown entered the transfer portal. I didn't really like him from the start. I'm sad to see him go because he was our best wide receiver. But at the same time, I wasn't too sad. But he was a really big part of our offense and was our best route runner by far. He could get open with ease. So that's a little bummer for KSU. But wide receiver Jawan Tibbs is staying at KSU so far. So I'm going to talk about this, but you might hear later in the news that this person that I thought was staying was actually going. But I'm pretty sure he's going to stay at KSU. And I liked him last year. He made a couple big plays. Nothing really huge. He didn't have like a huge game at times. Or just in general. But he's still a good wide receiver. And I think he will exceed next year at KSU if he stays. Gunnar Maldonado, our safety, I liked him. Number 3 is staying. I really liked him last year. He had a couple picks at the end of the season, started to play pretty well. So I'm really glad that he's staying. I think that our defense is going to be pretty good next year if most people stay. And then most of you know, the transfer portal is starting up. So hopefully K-State can get some new players. Like, that's a big part of college football and basketball and just college sports in general. I should just say that. That the transfer portal is just kind of like, it's the biggest part of college sports right now, it seems like. And also there's been this thing called tampering where their agents are talking to people before the other colleges, before they've been colleges, or before they should be talking to them. I'm not going to talk too much about that. That was just something that a lot of people are doing. It's like a big rumor around the college football right now. K-State has gotten a lot of new wide receivers. I can't name any. I should have put them on my list right here. But we got some good ones. So hopefully next year our wide receiver crew will be a lot better, and so we can exceed in that part of the game. And this is the biggest part, and I'm not sure how I feel about this. I'm glad that this person is staying. But at the same time, I don't know if we get a better quarterback in the portal. Avery Johnson. He's going to be staying. Well, sorry, I shouldn't say that. I would assume he'd be staying. Because Collin Klein, you just have to respect that he has had a good offense wherever he's gone. Collin Klein hasn't had a year like when he has a really bad offense yet, when he's like offensive coordinator. So you have to respect that. And so I think he's going to stay. My dad thinks he's going to stay. At first I thought he didn't. Once that Collin Klein thing happened, now I'm pretty confident that Avery will stay. And I mean, it's good. It would be a huge gamble to go and try to get another quarterback, but it would be a safe play. I mean, it's not the college's decision, but like that would be safe to keep him. And then Collin Klein brought tight end coach Christian Ellsworth. I don't know too much about him, except that he was at Texas A&M, and they brought him over. So that should be pretty good for them in general, because if someone's a coach at a number 3 seed in the country, or it was, and they're making the playoffs, that's a good coach no matter what, I think. And then the last announcement, I should have said this earlier, cornerback Donovan I can't remember his name, McIntosh, and then defensive end Ryan Davis are entering the transfer portal for our team. Ryan Davis, he's played every single game for the last 2 years for Kansas State. I haven't actually really noticed him. My dad just kind of told me this. My dad got me quite a bit of this information, so thank you to him for this for getting me this information for this episode. And then Donovan McIntosh has been good too. Again, I just haven't really noticed him. And then we'll talk about the staff. And then some of these coaches that I'm going to talk about have already left, and some are planning to leave. So Matt Wells, he's gone. He's going to try to find a different college coach for her, I'm pretty sure. So Collin Klein's going to try to find a new offense coordinator. Brian Anderson's our running back coach. We don't know if he's leaving or not. Matthew Middleton, wide receiver coach. We don't know if he's staying. Van Malone, cornerback coach. He's gone. So, and then last one, Mike. I can't remember. I don't know how to say his name. Tuiasosopo. That was really bad pronunciation. That's probably really long. We don't know if he's leaving. And then Luke Wells, our tight end coach, is gone, and Christian Ellsworth, like I said, is coming in for him. So I don't know if Christian Ellsworth is going to become a tight end coach for Kansas State, or is he going to try to do something different. That will just time will tell on that. So like I said, lots of people will not be here in 2026 because Kleiman is just trying to rebuild the whole team. And I like what he's doing, or I'm liking what he's going to do. I shouldn't say that because he hasn't done anything yet. He's not head coach of them yet. But I'm excited to see what he'll do, and I'm excited for all the K-State sports that are coming up next. So my next podcast will probably be on Kansas State basketball pretty soon, just to check out on how they're doing. So stay tuned for my next episode. Thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!